there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman.
Good afternoon, civilians. Happy Sunday. I hope that your Sunday has been well, and welcome to February, y'all. It's February 2nd. Welcome to the new month. Believing, praying for you, the best that God has to offer, believing that whatever it is that you have your eye on this month, that it will be well with you. But we are here. There's always a lot going on with Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I'm going to do a separate video about my thoughts on Mel Shari handing her resignation to Love and Marriage Huntsville. So she has freed us and has, allowed herself to be at peace. She can walk away with her head held high. But this recording, video, vlog, whatever, is about the reunion part 1. I just watched that not too long ago. So let's just start off a little light. We won't be here long. At least that's not my plan. The plan is for us to not be here long. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. So starting off light, we always know that Mel's going to eat regardless. I can't think of any reunion look that she didn't slay, especially as the seasons went along. She dropped Martell and all of that. So, of course, she slayed. Apparently, everybody but Tisha got the blonde hair memo because she was the only one that came out with her hair black. I did like her hair. This was better for her than her past several reunions, so I will give her that. The shoes kind of went with the dress and the makeup and everything, so she might have hired her own people because, word on the street is that, Carla's on pay, period, so, and that includes the makeup artist, so she might have paid a little bit extra to get somebody a little different this time around because her look is an improvement. Destiny had an issue with her dress and decided she was going to, I guess, go dig back a few seasons and go find one of Mel's old looks to rock. So she got on what she got on. Kimmi is always a miss for me. Maybe one reunion look for Kimmi has been on point, but she's usually a miss in my opinion. Per usual, Miss Nell and it's doing too much in my opinion. I feel like there are elements of what she's wearing that's really pretty, but you got the hair, the blonde hair, the big hair, the sparklies and all that in the dress. I feel like a couple of elements could have been taken away to really take her look to the next level. Carlos and Martell do what they usually do, coordinating. And Martell, for the most part, always tends to put himself together, besides the fact that he's always wearing, clothes that it's like he's trying to take his own blood pressure. I don't know why his clothes need to be so tight. I think one of these days when he might rip one of his pants or something, but that's neither here nor there. The Scott brothers, just usual. Apparently Blue was, on their minds. There's nothing remarkable about Maurice's suit. He always looks like he just grabbed a suit from his closet and put it on. I think Marcel tries to step up his game a little bit. So, and that's it as far as the looks is concerned. That's all I care to talk about this part 1. Those are the people that were on part 1. So they start off with going, back in time, kind of doing a recap. I found it to be very interesting that they were doing a recap from the beginning, since Carlos has expressed that he didn't know that Mel, wasn't coming back, and he was shocked by it. Now, he may not, even if he wasn't privy to her handing her resignation, because we do know that OWN pays her and not Kingdom Reign, he's been putting things in motion to get to this point where Mel is leaving the show. So I don't know why he wants to pretend that he didn't know, but there you have it. So even with that, honestly, it felt uncomfortable with that recap of them going to, it just seemed like you don't do that unless you anticipate the end of something. For you to kind of reminisce the way they did, they didn't just go back to last season. They went back to the very beginning. So to me, it kind of feels like, why are you reminiscing if you don't see the end of something, coming up? But that's neither here nor there. And so they do all of that. They ask them how they feel, ask Martell how he felt. Of course, he feels, sad or whatever, because when the show started, he had a wife, he had a home, he was successful, all of these things, and now he doesn't have any of those things. He still has the kids. That's the only thing that he's had before. He's reminiscing about what they built. The only thing that was built at that time that they still have are the children. Everything else they do not have. They asked Mel. Mel says she don't feel sad. It just helps her to see, where she's come, uh, and how she's really just dwelled on the positive despite of everything she's gone through. And so they start asking Martell different, about different things. The revenge P, of course, comes up. It's just very interesting that all of a sudden people are free to talk about this when they've known about it all along, and they've acted like Mel was tripping, and Martell just got in trouble for sending her a text, whatever. So they talk about that, and child, you cannot pin Martell down with the truth for nothing. The ease with which Martell lies and the delusional realm that he lives in is really something to be studied by the mental health community, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in all of my life. The way that he lies, things that's easily proven, it would not be hard to go get the records to show that he pled guilty. And I don't know how the laws are written in Alabama that he could plead guilty but still is able to appeal. That's very confusing to me. I don't know of how normally when people plead, they take the plea and then they serve out the sentence, whatever it is, based on the plea deal, and then they move on. The fact that he pled guilty but still got to appeal makes no sense to me. I don't understand how that's even possible. But I will actually give Carlos credit. This is the first reunion that I have seen that he has put people's feet to the fire as outside of Melody. He's actually put people's feet to the fire. He put Martell's feet to the fire. He put Kimmi and Maurice's feet to the fire. This is the first reunion that I've seen him do that. So thus far, for this part, he's actually doing his job as the host and moderator of the reunion. So, child, I don't want to dwell on it because Martell's going to deny to the very end. Now, Marcel is always going to give you a little bit funny little, tidbit here and there. And Marcel said, if you if you want to know the truth, ask Martell, or do you believe Martell or Martell? And that was funny because that is really how Martell talks. Is that he will say one thing, and then when you go back to him, he'll twist it a different way, and it's based on the same issue, right? So we know all of this. We know this about Martell. We know how delusional he is. He's trying to talk directly to Mel, and she's like, I don't talk to you. So she's answering Carlos's question. And, he does the thing where he always does that when they come to him and they ask him to explain a matter, he don't explain it. But then when they turn and try and get clarity or understanding from Mel, then he wants to try and overtalk her and talk about how she's lying or she's not right, and it's like, and then he's trying to interact with her directly, and she's like, I'm not talking to you. So they got off of that. Finally, that was like that was really most of the first part of our reunion. So then they get to the whole Maurice DUI situation, and y'all know Mel explained this, a couple of days ago about that whole situation, and I just find it very, very ridiculous that it was even brought up in this manner. If it was going to be brought up, what should have happened was Kimmy said, yes, actually, I did feel a way about Mel commenting, but there was no reason for her to feel a way because she knew, she was privy to what Mel was doing. She was privy to it. So for her to act like Mel just decided to go around and started talking about them, and Maurice talks about how Mel tried to disparage his character, is asinine. It is completely asinine. And y'all notice how usually when Kimmy is doing a lot of talking is due to her sonsman, Maurice, getting into something, and then she's always the one that speaks more than he speaks. You're not the one with the DUI, Kimmy. Why do you have so much animus? Why are you speaking more than the person whose DUI it is? And then saying that you don't and then that whole comment about Mel's alleged BBL, which don't nobody believe that. Kimmy has been waiting to use that. I mean, waiting to get that out the chamber to use that against Mel. Because that has nothing to do with anything. Honestly, there's a plethora of things that she could have brought up that people have been saying online about Mel that actually have more traction than that thing. I think it was a one blogger, if my memory serves me right, and I stand to be corrected, who's obsessed with Melody, is the one that put that out there. That was not something that was widespread at all. So she's been waiting to use that line, and it speaks to her lack of character. Because if you and somebody had a conversation and y'all squashed it and y'all left out good, that's all you needed to say in this reunion. Mel said something, I felt the way. We sat, she explained to me how we even got to that situation in the first place. We chopped it up. We actually broke bread after that. We're good. Keep it pushing. But instead, you want to act like this lady went on a whole campaign to try to accuse your husband or something. And then they ask her, do you think if Maurice cheated on you? Of course, she says no. Again, Carlos, I'm going to give him his credit thus far. He's actually doing his job for real. He turns to Mel and asks Mel, if you knew that Maurice was cheating, or you found out he was cheating, would you tell Kimmi? Mel said no, because she would just tell the person to get out of her face. I'm gonna surmise and even extra here. If I was Mel, absolutely no, I'm not telling you that he's cheating on you. I don't even care if I saw it with my own two eyes. I'm not telling you anything, because the way y'all go around here acting like y'all men don't be on some effed up stuff, excuse my language, on messed up stuff, and try to act like I'm looking here to sabotage and act like, y'all men are doing something that they're not doing. You think I'm going to tell you after you done stood here and acted like you don't know what your man do and that somebody is just trying to find cheating scandals anywhere? No, I'm not telling you. That's what I would say. I wouldn't tell you, even if I saw it with my own two eyes, I wouldn't tell you, Kimmi. And then Kimmi said, well, I would want to know. Girl, you already know. Because what married man, you and your husband go to an event and y'all leaving in the nighttime and he lets you go home and then he goes his way. If he's going to his office, don't nobody know. Wherever it is he was going, they couldn't answer where he was going. Were you by yourself? Were you not by yourself? And then he want to try and hide behind legalities, like, oh, there's just certain things I can't talk about. I'm gonna be smart. Let my lawyer do his job. When the question they were asking you would not violate your case at all, as to whether or not you were by yourself. So what kind of responsible husband will allow his wife to go home by herself, okay, and then not let her know where he is, to where she has to leave the house and go looking for you, and then we want to act like Mel is just doing too much. Mel is just looking for a reason to accuse somebody else of cheating. She's doing to people what she don't want done to her. When y'all spend the entire, and she said that, they spend this entire time talking about everything that has to do with her, and she never told them they couldn't. They've made money just talking about her stuff, but it's Mel's fault. Like all that venom and all that animus, like where did that come from? That was just too much, in my opinion. Just too much, especially if y'all had already squashed it. Now I want to know what they're gonna do, cause she's not gonna be on there no more. And I'm gonna be very, very honest with y'all. I know that I'm a content creator, but the likelihood of me reviewing the show now that Mel is not gonna be on there, I'm gonna safely say slim to none. She was the only reason for me that I was reviewing the show, because she's the only person that actually showed her real life. And I'm reviewing the reunion now because this is the last one that she's on. So I started it out, I'm going to close it out. But I don't foresee me going about this show beyond this. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, honestly, I don't care if they're filming next season. It would not surprise me if the network cuts this show, regardless of what they've already filmed. Regardless. Because I don't see who on this show or who they're going to bring that can carry this show, because nobody knows how to tell the truth and actually show their real life. No one. So that's where it ended, and then they did a recap, the what's to come, a preview of that. Sunny comes up, and Tisha got all this hype. For some reason, she seems to be more hype about Sunny than even Destiny is, but that's neither here nor there. That's like her. And then, Carlos is asking Trisha questions. I'm sure she's going to give a different version than we've heard, but that's going to be par for the course. That's really all I got to say. I didn't even expect to say this much about this reunion. Until next time.
Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.